16.
Well, it's the most patriotic time of year. Fireworks on the lake, barbecue on the grill, popsicles, or beverage of choice in hand. We hope you enjoyed a happy and safe 4th of July weekend. Now, for us Arkansas sports fans, it might be the most quiet time of year. Smack dab in the high school summer dead period, college baseball in the books, with only the Travs and Rangers soccer in action. We're all starting to scratch that football itch, but the recruiting trail is moving 24/7, 365. So on the heels of a historic NBA draft night for the Razorbacks, let's talk some hoops. Talk about putting Arkansas on the map. Under a national spotlight, 3 Hogs would hear their names called last week, tying for the most out of any school in the country, leading all of college basketball considering selection spot. So who wants to be the next Anthony Black, Nick Smith Jr., or Jordan Walsh? The hope is top prospects take notice of these guys following in the footsteps of Bobby Portis or Moses Moody as pro Hogs, maybe making Arkansas a recruiting destination. Just ask Eric Musselman.
I don't think you have to sell it. I mean, you would hope that people are paying attention and organically there becomes a heightened interest in playing here because of that. So I don't think we necessarily have to sell. We've had 4 one and dones and 2 lottery picks, a first rounder, an early second rounder, and I think that those guys got drafted because they're really, really talented coming into the door, and then obviously walking out as well. So happy for them, happy for their families, and certainly feel that recruits families and recruits inner circles, I promise you there is value from a national standpoint, for sure. What that is, I don't know, but I certainly know it's pretty powerful.
So as always with college sports, the future starts now for the Hogs, and one prospect they're keeping close tabs on is in her own backyard. Terrion Burgess is proving to be the state's top recruit of his class, now sitting in the top 20 of national ranks, and showing why this summer in a trip to Europe. 6'9" Benton big man, 2025 Razorbacks target Terrion Burgess is giving us all a reason to remember his name. The up-and-coming Arkansas baller recently went up and away, flying to Europe earlier this month to showcase his talents at an Adidas camp in Treviso, Italy. Against top-flight competition of older ages, Burgess would show why he's currently rated by 24/7 Sports as the 17th best prospect of his class, and maybe on his way to picking up a 5th star, leading his team with nearly a double-double in one game. And of course, he'd have some fun while he's at it.
I mean, it's very different over there from the U.S. It was very nice. A lot of stuff you don't see in the U.S. It's just very nice. I think I did good. I could have did better, but I held myself. It made me a lot better. It was more physical. The guys 24, 23. They're more competitive. It was just a fun experience.
Burgess wasn't the only Central Arkansas kid to rep his home state at the Eurocamp. Fellow Hogs target Little Rock Central star Annor Boateng also made the trip, the rising senior playing on the opposite Adidas team from Terrion. After sharpening each other's iron on the road for 2 weeks, they'd arrive back to the natural state as better players and closer friends.
I mean, me and Annor was roommates. We talk about it every day. Just fun to be there. I mean, we got that connection. We're on the same AU team. Been on the same AU team for like 3-4 years. We just got that connection. My strengths, attacking the rim. If I have a guard on me, I'm gonna post up. If I have a big on me, he can't really guard me. If I take him to the perimeter, I feel like that's my strengths.
Starting his high school career at Marion, Burgess transferred to play his sophomore season at Benton. Using his imposing size and surprising range, he'd quickly become one of the state's top players. If you ask Terrion or his head coach, the best is still yet to come.
Terrion is a guy that always, has great size, can handle the ball like a guard, and has got so much great experience this summer with obviously his trip to Italy and what he does. So he's a guy that's just a great kid, hard worker, and the sky's the limit for him. So he's really improved, and I think he'll be dominant for us this next season.
Burgess has soared up 2025 recruiting ranks and has no shortage of Power 5 offers. But like Boateng has, the Benton forward plans to take his time making college visits and evaluating his options, growing his game and keeping winning priority number 1.
Since June 15, I just started talking to the Razorbacks to keep a good connection. I mean, I don't really have to worry about it right now because I'm still like a sophomore going in junior year, but I just take my time.
he doesn't take a day off. He's a basketball junkie. He's always working on his game. The dead period's coming up, start next Monday here in Arkansas for all athletics, but he won't have much of a dead period. He just works at it constantly and always looking to improve and grow. So I'm just very fortunate to be able to coach a young man like him.
I need to work on a lot of stuff with shooting, ball handling, mainly. I'm pretty athletic, so I don't really have to focus on that, but just shooting the ball handling. I'm working on changing the season around from last season. We had a pretty decent season, but I'm working a better season this year.
We cannot wait to see what the future has in store for Burgess at Benton and beyond. And of course, he wasn't the only local athlete to compete over in Italy. Annor Boateng might even be of more importance to the Razorbacks at this moment, considering he's 1 year closer to graduation and thus a decision. The Central Tiger showed off his 3-and-D skills in the Adidas Eurocamp and enjoyed doing so alongside Terrion.
It was basically to play against a higher level competition or potential G League players, and as well as NBA draft picks. Us being there, it was just like putting our state on the map. So it was just a great overall experience along with him. And, having somebody from home is always comforting. So these are people that are potentially going to the league. So it's like you play against high level players, high IQ players. So you had to basically just grow up. So being in that environment, I feel like I grew a lot. Me and him, we basically killed it. So it was just great being able to represent our state.
Burgess and Boateng are just two of the talented ballers in the state. Now, despite going undrafted, Arkansas native Austin Reaves is showing all local athletes, especially ones who were overlooked, a blueprint to success. On Saturday, the Lakers guard agreed to a 4-year max extension worth $56 million, staying in LA long term. Now, while he didn't go to college here, he's intent on giving back to his home state. Last week, we caught up with Reaves at his youth basketball camp. Going from small-town Arkansas to playing at the highest level of basketball, Austin Reaves has defied the odds and already made some of his basketball dreams come true. Now starring for the LA Lakers alongside LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Now he returns to his home state to give back to kids of all ages so they can achieve their own dreams. Less than a month removed from helping lead the Lakers to the Western Conference Finals, 25-year-old Austin and his brother Spencer, a guard in Germany's professional league, are hosting 3 youth camps across the state this week. For the two products of Cedar Ridge High School in Newark, Arkansas, the Reaves basketball camp is a chance to remember where they come from.
Me and Spencer wanted to, put something together to kind of instill, basketball at a younger age than kind of what, we were 3 or 4 hours of, joy of playing the game and, learning from guys that's been around the game. And it's really just to give back and, have a lot of fun with the kids.
Final seconds, out to Reaves, three-pointer, bang! Reaves gives him a 3-point lead with 9/10 of a second remaining. What a finish here in Dallas.
Under-recruited and with only a few offers to his name out of high school, Austin first attended Wichita State before transferring to Oklahoma. It was an unconventional path for Reaves to reach the NBA and the Lake Show. A never-give-up, underdog mentality is the message he preaches to Arkansas kids who aspire to one day walk in his footsteps.
You don't really take no for an answer. You're going to figure out a way to be successful, and that's kind of, what I've done. Every team I've been on, I've figured out what I needed to do to get on the court, and that's kind of what we're trying to, teach these kids. It's not always about the most talented or the tallest or the strongest. It's really about using your brain and being smarter than others, know the game, and that goes as long as life as well. If you're the hardest working person, at any job or anything you do, you'll be fine. You can look a lot of areas in sports and see a lot of guys that, didn't have the easiest route. It's really about, putting your head down, working, and, just becoming the best version of yourself.
Reaves is one of today's NBA players that Arkansans can root on from afar, along with the likes of Bobby Portis and Moses Moody. With the NBA draft tipping off Thursday night, Nick Smith Jr. can become a new member of that fraternity. Win or lose, what Reaves knows he can hang his hat on through his pro career is repping his home state with pride under the national spotlight.
It's all about giving light to, people that, come from, where we're from. And, there's 4 or 5, maybe 6 guys from Arkansas that are in the league. Nick Smith's about to be. So, there's a lot of talent around the state, and there's a lot of opportunity to, go and achieve your dreams. So, that's kind of what we're all trying to, prove to these kids.
All right, up next, we'll look back on the life of Ryan Mallett after the Razorback great's tragic death this week, remembering the quarterback, the coach, and the person so many Arkansans grew to love. Stay right here.
You're watching Final Score on Fox 16.
This week was an unforgettable one in Arkansas sports, and for the worst reason. On Tuesday, we lost Razorbacks quarterback's legend, Ryan Mallett, far too soon. The second-year Whitehall head coach drowned on a vacation in Destin, Florida. His former teammates, coaches, and fans nationwide were devastated by this news, and our thoughts remain with his family and friends. Now, as a tribute to Mallett's life and legacy, we'd like to share a piece that we ran last spring on Mallett taking his first head coach job. We hope that it shows that his tragic death not only took away a Hogs great, but it cut short what was destined to be a fruitful coaching career in which he would change countless lives.
Here we go. The quarterback, Ryan Mallett, who's back to throw, wants it all deep, got a man, touchdown!
A Razorbacks great who once wound back to throw for historic numbers has now wound up a high school coach.
I was always going to coach. My dad was a coach. My uncles have been coaches. I've been around it my whole life. I mean, I've grown up in a field house, so I love being around it. I love being around the kids and they're learning, so we're getting started.
Watch, I want you to watch.
At 33 years old, Ryan Mallett has gone from QB1 to Pro Hog and now to Top Dog as he takes over the Whitehall Bulldogs near Pine Bluff, Arkansas in his first head coach job.
I love it. I get to, kind of oversee both offense, defense, special teams, have my hand in a little bit of everything, and I like that. But that's why, I've hired some of the coaches I had because I got some really good coaches around me, and it makes my job a little bit easier.
Having played all around the country in the NFL, it's no coincidence that Mallett gravitated back to the natural state after his playing days.
I'm an Arkansan through and through. There's no doubt about that. I've always lived in the state of Arkansas except for when I was in the pros. So, it's just something special about this state.
It isn't the former quarterback's first stop in Arkansas coaching. Mallett spent the past 2 seasons at Mountain Home, eventually being offensive coordinator. Over the spring, he announced that he'd be taking the helm at Whitehall after respected coach Bobby Boateng stepped away. Mallett inherits a team coming off an 11-3 year and a runner-up finish in Class 5A. He'll look to keep the Bulldogs a contender and hopefully win the school's first ever football state championship.
I mean, the standard's been set. We've gotten there now. Now it's time for us to go win one. Who knows when that'll be? I'm not saying it'll be this year. It may not be next year, but hopefully by the time we're done here, we'll have one here.
As soon as that back of buzzes, you better have the ball out. 1, 2, 3, ball.
It's top-notch facilities in the state. They lost a lot of seniors, so we got a lot of young guys coming up, so a lot to build on. So, I mean, the area is a great place to live in, and so I'm just happy to be here, and I'm glad we finally got to start spring ball.
Ryan Mallett rallied the troops.
Before Mallett hung up the cleats and picked up a whistle, he long starred behind center. At 6'7" and considered a top 5 player in the nation out of Texarkana, he first attended Michigan and then transferred to Arkansas. He spent the 2009 and 2010 season starting for the Hogs, playing under Bobby Petrino and making program history. At one time, Mallett owned 16 program records, like most passing yards and most touchdown passes over a single season. While at Arkansas, he'd be named Liberty Bowl Offensive MVP, come up just short in the Sugar Bowl, and finish 7th place in Heisman Trophy voting.
The New England Patriots select Ryan Mallett.
In 2011, Mallett was drafted in the 3rd round by the New England Patriots, going on to also play for the Ravens and the Texans. Now he'll look to bring his knowledge of the game and his winning ways to Whitehall.
It's opportunity for me to give back some of the stuff that I received from coaches growing up as far as just, the leadership, the guidance, and the right things to do, the wrong things to do.
There you go, just like that, good.
It's a little different these days with kids, so everybody wants to play video games, but we want kids here that want to get out here and be outside and throw the ball around.
Put it on my chest.
It's fun to see these kids do that.
Transfer that weight. Hey, you're staying back now. Go ahead, push that hip through.
The buy-in's been great. They work hard all off-season in the weight room out here running, and so just to be able to put the pads on, get the pads popping, we've been looking forward to that a lot.
Where your foot's at. Look where your foot's at right now.
As for the schemes, the style, and the playbook he's installing at Whitehall, Mallett did play with Tom Brady and the Patriots, so he knows from their coach to keep his cards close to his chest.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see, yeah. I play for Belichick, so I don't give too much away.
But as for the culture he's implementing, the former Hog knows firsthand what can put a team over the top.
I mean, it's no different than it is at any other time. It's getting better every day. You either get better or you get worse. You never stay the same. So that's our mindset.
Mallett would lead Whitehall to a 4-6 record in his first and sadly only season as a head coach. Thanks for the memories, 15. So we see a lot of talented ballers sprout up from this area. We saw one get drafted last week, and earlier in the show, we heard from two on the come up as we speak. Now, one of the standout hoopers from yesteryear who made his mark in Arkansas and now plays overseas joins us in studio. Let's send it on over to Chester Lucas.
Thank you, Nick. I really appreciate that. And today, guys, we have a special guest all the way from the Belize Basketball League. I want to introduce my man, Jeremiah Toney, a native to Little Rock. So, Jeremiah, today, I want to talk about the success and what this means to you being a pro basketball player, being native to Little Rock. We have the big ring right here. You won a championship back in 2017 with Mills. And so, all the way back in 2017, what does that mean for you?
It means a lot just being able to, put on for my city and show the youth that just because you aren't the most highly recruited player, that you can still be successful in this sport. So it means a lot.
Great. So were there any challenges or adversity that you had to go through to make it to that championship game?
Yes, I actually got injured the year before our championship game. I tore my plantar fascia in my foot, and it caused me to lose a lot of offers. So my senior year was very big for me. It just meant a lot for me to be able to just play good and end up winning a championship with my team, my brothers.
So after winning that championship, you also had a successful collegiate career as well, playing at two different schools. The first one being U of A Fort Smith. So what does that mean at that first stop in college?
I learned a lot my freshman year under a lot of great dudes, Devontae Thomas, Kyrie Elder, Terrion Strong. They all play overseas now, and so it was a big learning experience, and I had a good coach too. So it was good to go from one winning situation to the next.
Great. So once you left U of A Fort Smith, and this is where I met you at Henderson State down in the Dirty Delta.
Yeah.
So you also have another ring with Henderson State. So success has been following you over your career. And what was the scene like once you got down to Arkadelphia at Henderson State?
Coming to Henderson State, I was also coming off an injury. I tore my labrum in my right shoulder, and I was getting getting my feet back wet with basketball. And I got to team up with my guy Raekwon Rogers from Arkansas as well, Little Rock, Arkansas. And it was just another learning experience, but it also let me get back out there and just get back comfortable doing what I like to do, what I love to do.
So switching conferences and playing for the Great American Conference at Henderson State, what was the competition like?
Man, it was very physical. A lot of dudes that were in the GAC are now overseas as well. And so it was high-level basketball. Even though it's a D2, it was very, very much like high-level basketball and a lot of great players there.
And so since you were going against that physical conference with the GAC, winning this conference championship with Henderson State, can you tell me about the moment once that happened?
I was ecstatic. Me and my guys were ecstatic. It got dulled a little bit because that was the COVID year, but we came back to the school, and the school and the community just made it amazing for us. It made us show like that a lot of people really supported us, and so it was cool.
And so now, once you're done with college, now you make it over to Belize. A lot of kids don't know what it's like after college, if it's NBA or bust. So now you being an all-star in a different league overseas, what does that mean for you being an Arkansan and following that success that's been with you your whole career?
It's nice to be able to show people that just because you aren't highly recruited, or you didn't get to the NBA, that it's still a route that you can go and you can still be successful where you are. And I mean, it's still a shot. It's not off the table, so
nice.
Just gotta keep working.
And you're also an all-star. Tell me about what it was like making an all-star over in that league.
It was crazy. I was probably the only rookie there. I was the youngest rookie all-star there. So it was cool just learning from those guys and being able to sit down and talk to them on a more personal level. When you're going up against them, it's kind of different because nobody's trying to really talk on the court like that.
Right.
But when you at the all-star game, it was more like a friendly conversations and them just giving me knowledge and giving me game on how to keep going and how to excel in this work.
Nice. Well, I want to thank you for spending some time with us here on the Final Score. Hopefully we can bring you back some more.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us, Jeremiah, and best of luck balling abroad. All right, don't go anywhere, because when we return, we will reveal the Athlete of the Week. So stay right here.
You're watching Final Score on Fox 16.
Welcome back. It's time to show our Athlete of the Week. Now we flip the calendar to July, and that means that's a wrap on college baseball. Records and stats are final, and the individual national crown for one of the sport's most meaningful pitching stats belongs to a Little Rock Trojan. Roll the tape.
There it is! The college baseball season is in the books, with an SEC team yet again taking home the national title. 2023 stats are finalized, and one category leader might catch your attention. The nation's leader in earned run average can be found here in Arkansas, and this pitcher isn't a Razorback. In his first season playing for the Little Rock Trojans, sophomore Rogers native Jackson Wells tallied a 1.65 ERA, finishing 4 points higher than LSU's Paul Skeens to claim the best mark in the country.
Pretty cool to be seen kind of on the national level, even at a smaller school. It just shows that my hard work has been paying off. It's especially nice to be able to do it so close to home and have my family there every weekend to watch it happen.
Coming to UALR by way of UA Rich Mountain, Wells' debut year as a Trojan couldn't have been stronger. Allowing only 17 earned runs and just 27 runs overall over 93 innings pitched, he becomes the first ever Little Rock pitcher to be a national statistical champion.
I set high expectations for myself, but I never really had this in mind. Coming from Rich Mountain, I had a decent year, but it wasn't anything super spectacular. My ERA definitely wasn't as good as it was this year. I had a pretty good fall, but definitely wasn't to the level of this spring. And then I think just once I developed a couple off-speed pitches and then was able to throw those for strikes and be as consistent as I could be every weekend, it started to happen.
Named the Ohio Valley Conference Pitcher of the Year and a third-team All-American by NCBWA, Wells tallied the best ERA of any Little Rock pitcher since Jesse Harbin posted a 1.59 in 2014. The best in the OVC since 2008, and is the fourth best single-season ERA in program history.
It means a lot. I didn't really put too much pressure on myself being the Friday guy at the start of the season. I knew that I had what it took to compete, and that was just my biggest focus. I don't know if anybody can really step into the shoes that Hayden Arnold had and the success that he had over his 4 or 5 years at Little Rock. But my goal was just to compete as well as I could for my teammates.
Congrats to Jackson Wells on the awesome honor, repping his home state and the Trojans. You can find that full story on fox16.com. But that'll do it for us tonight. For all the hardworking men and women on the floor and in the booth, we thank you for joining us and wish you a happy and safe holiday. We'll see you next week right here on Final Score.